Read Zerokara Hajimeru Isekai seikatsu, Arc 1 Chapter 2. Don't get carried away, said God. The man gazed at him with scorn and contempt as Subaru approached him. They appeared to be in their mid-twenties, their clothes were filthy, and it was as though their inner evil had manifested on their faces. They weren't subhuman, but they couldn't be called decent humans either. Damn, a compulsory event. Facing the grinning men, Subaru wiped his face and stood up in a panic. They were clearly bandits, and considering the state of the world, they might even take his life. Mission 1, repel the bandits, had begun. Clear candidation was eliminate them, and failure was probably his death. Subaru smacked his cheeks and ignored the chill running through his spine. He had to get serious, and hesitation could cost him his life. He at least had confidence in his decisiveness. Furthermore, this is an isekai. Considering the typical pattern, I might be super strong here. Something like gravity being a tenth of what it was. Or come to think of it, my body feels light. Maybe I can win. He's murmuring something. Maybe he doesn't get what's going on. Should we teach him? Unlike Subaru, the men remained fairly calm. However, Subaru continued to face them without backing down. Whoa there, you guys won't be calm for so long. Let me warn you, guys like me fantasize about this thing all the time. I'll beat the crap out of you and turn you into XP. I have no clue what you're saying, but you're gonna die from this. That's my line. With that declaration, Subaru launched his preemptive attack before they could react. He flew into one of them with full body right straight. It landed a direct hit on the leader's face with such force that his front tooth cut Subaru's hand. He had hit someone for the first time, and it was much more painful than he expected. This was all he had tried in simulations, but it was still his first time actually doing it, and the man who fell hit to the ground and stopped moving. Driven by emotion, Subaru immediately lunged at the second man who was still in shock. Eat this! A high kick forced by after-bar struggles. He drew his foot through an arc into the right man's temple and slammed him into the wall. Having knocked the second person out, Subaru started to believe he was invincible due to his unexpectedly competent performance. Looks like this world is set to raise by power after all. With all this adrenaline, it can definitely win. Filled with courage, Subaru approached the last man as he prepared to take him out. However, the glint of the knife in his hand caused Subaru to prostrate himself on the spot. Come aside, it was all my fault. Please forgive me, spare me. He surrendered on his knees, his greatest and lowest representation of the Japanese spirit. His earlier excitement had completely disappeared. Subaru felt his blood run cold, and he tried his best to beg for mercy with his head on the ground. After all, he had no chance against the blade. If he were cut, he'd be finished. Skill doesn't matter when it comes to a knife-wielding opponent. He then realized the two men who were supposed to be down were also getting back up. He nursed their bleeding noses and shook their heads dizzily, but otherwise seemed fine. Huh? How come my peerless attack failed? Where's the power I'm supposed to have? What sort of crap are you spouting? How dare you do that to us? They stomped his head, causing his forehead to bleed as it scraped against the road. Subaru desperately coiled up and they continued to pile on blow after blow. This is bad, it hurts like hell, I might actually die, for real. They showed no mercy whatsoever, and unlike his old word, there was no guarantee there spare his life. There was a strong possibility that he would be tortured to death like this. Perhaps he should have fought, prepared to die an honorable death. But that was no longer a possibility considering his injuries. Even so, he couldn't just die like that. Don't move, fool! Ow, 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 itai, itai, itai! The moment he tried to get up, they crushed his hand and foot and he could only scream in agony. The man turned red with rage and sent spit flying as he yelled. He then held the knife in an underhand grip. We'll kill you and take everything you have. That's what you get for messing with us. If it's valuable to run after, it's useless. You see, I'm completely broke. Your strange clothes and shoes will do them, and we'll turn into giant rat field. There's rats in his world too. Sounds like a bottom tier monster. His mind started to drifting in an attempt to escape reality as he looked up at his knife, which could tear him at any moment. He wasn't seeing any lights, nor did the world slow down. His life would simply end like that. Hey, move, 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 you're in my way! An exasperated voice rang out as someone ran in the alley. A startled man looked at the intruder, and Subaru attempted to do so as even though he couldn't move. A beautiful girl crossed his field of view. Her frame was small, and he possessed rather short blonde hair which fluttered in the wind. Her eyes suggested a strong will, and her fang-like canine protruded mischievously. She looked like a cheeky, but she was cute. The shabbily dressed girl had come across the scene with of a genuine muggin. She seemed deliberate. The seemingly deliberate timing caused hope to well up within Subaru. This was it. This was the development he was waiting for. Following the typical pattern, this kind girl would gallantly save Subaru, who was on the verge of death, and then, this is crazy, but I'm busy. Gotta get out of here. Live strong. Huh? That? Seriously? However, that fleeting hope was crushed. Their eyes met momentarily, and she raised his hand apologetically as she continued to run past him in what seemed to be a dead end. She then proceeded to leap off a leaning board and then disappear into a wall. With the girl gone, the alley went silent. She had gone by like a typhoon, leaving them dumbfounded, but Subaru's circumstances hadn't changed one bit. Now the moon's been lightened. I don't suppose you might let me go? Ah, on the contrary, we are even angrier. You're not going to die a peaceful death, you know. The man with the knife looked serious. Subaru realized that he was sure finished for sure this time. His hands were still trapped under his heels, and it was too late to attempt to get up. Ultimately, despair conquered his heart. It's over. Just like that, in a place like this. It's true I haven't lived very virtuously. Even so, a death like this is just too cruel. If I were to ask what I did, the reply would be that I did nothing at all. A completely idle device. Pain, wasn't it? There was something else that caused him to tear up. It wasn't the fear of something like the end. He could not bear having lived such an empty, meaningless life. That's enough, villains! A clear voice rang through the alley, overpowering the noise of violence, the men's vulgar cheers, and even Subaru's ragged breaths. Sorry for my voice quality. I don't do it professionally or anything. I am recording this on my phone's microphone. Anyway, so Subaru did make a lot of references in this video, so I guess we'll have to wait for the next time. See you then.